In Ukraine, the use of drone weapons has changed the rules of warfare. Now Iran is adapting the same strategy to paralyze the Strait of Hormuz. One month into Israeli and American operations against Iran, Iran's military capabilities have been crippled. As of March 23rd, U.S. Central Command reports that American forces have struck over 9,000 Iranian targets and have damaged or destroyed over 140 Iranian sea vessels.
The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated, pick your adjective.
But as the conflict continues, oil prices soaring, and with diplomatic talks gaining little traction, the key oil shipping lane, the Strait of Hormuz, remains frozen, as the threat of mines and the specter of unmanned surface vessels shows that nations may no longer need a traditional navy to hold the sea from a superpower. Between touting the achievements of Operation Epic Fury against Iran,
I don't like to say this, we've won this. This war has been won.
President Trump has dismissed the idea of Iran using unmanned Kamikaze sea drones to attack ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
The Kamikaze boats don't exist. They're fake.
However, the Joint Maritime Information Center points to unmanned surface vessels as among the most credible threats in the Strait of Hormuz. And there have been several confirmed and credible reports of sea drone strikes on ships since the fighting began. On March 1st, the Marshall Island flagged crude oil tanker VKD Vayam was confirmed to have been struck by an Iranian sea drone off the coast of Oman, according to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center. On March 5th, another crude oil tanker, the Bahamian-flagged Senegal Namimbi, was hit by a blast off the coast of Kuwait, after a small boat approached its port side, according to Reuters. Maritime authorities have reported dozens of attacks and incidents involving commercial vessels since the fighting began, though it remains difficult to confirm if the strikes came from unmanned vessels, and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, denied their use on March 13th. Iran's strategy relies on cheap, high-quantity drone weapons, such as the Shahed drone being used against American and Israeli forces, and which is an essential piece of Russia's arsenal against Ukraine. In recent years, Iran has supplied boat drones to its Houthi proxy groups in Yemen, leading to attacks on shipping vessels in the Red Sea. In June 2024, a Houthi sea drone struck the MV Tudor, a Liberian-flagged bulk carrier, killing a crew member and sinking the ship. The impact of boat drones goes beyond limited strikes on unprotected shipping vessels. They have proven to be an entirely new factor in naval warfare. Since 2022, Ukraine leveraged unmanned surface vessels, some models affectionately called Sea Babies, punishing the much larger Russian Black Sea Fleet. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, by 2025, Ukraine had eroded 40% of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, reopening grain shipping lanes and forcing the fleet to be rebased from the occupied Crimean city of Sevastopol to the further city of Novorossiysk. Ukraine proved that drones can transform asymmetric warfare, and traditional forces don't have a ready answer for cheap, remote-controlled weapons. The US Navy, though, is certainly not the Russian Black Sea Fleet, and US ships have far superior technology operating around the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran's strategy isn't to go toe-to-toe with the US Navy, it's to provide constant, reliable threats, because even a small number of cheap drones and mines can have an outsized impact if they make insurers think that the risk is too high.
You know, if you have $1 billion ship and you get hit by a mine, it's not the greatest thing in the world. If you think there may be a mine, that's a bad thought, and it stops things up.
Iran doesn't need to sink ships to stop them. It just needs to show that any ships in the Persian Gulf could be a potential target.